Let's go back, please. But your main savings is what entitles you to a loan based on a multiple. For example, if you have 250, you can currently borrow 1 million. That's called the main saving. That is refundable. That is your money. If you want it, we shall give us a written notice, 60 days, you get back your money. And I explained why you need to wait for 60 days. Because we want you to change your mind. Yeah, because you are not supposed to withdraw. Why do you want to withdraw? Actually, most members, if you ask me, they withdraw out of ignorance. Why should you withdraw? I've been in Sacco movement right here for 7 years. I have never even thought of withdrawing. Actually, I'm always thinking, how do I boost these savings? Because I know the more I boost, I can qualify for a bigger loan. That's the way you should be looking at it. Why do you want to withdraw? Sometimes we lie, okay, let me not take a loan, let me just take what I have. Then within a short time, you have squandered all that money. And you are left back to square one, where you started. It has taken me 7 years to build that savings. And most people develop, to build those savings, it might even take you more than 10 years. But right now, because of that, I can qualify for a loan of 5 million from a Sacco. Because I've taken time to build that money. And I don't intend to withdraw it. That's the kind of discipline I want to instill with you. Save without withdrawing. If you need an emergency cash, come to the Sacco, tell me I have an emergency. I'm going to lend to you within 2 days. 90% of that, not everything, 90%. And you have what you want. You have the money to sort out the emergency case and to repay back the loan. So you are still sorted. You don't have to withdraw. Next. Yes? Yeah. And I've talked about that. Each member has a minimum share capital that they are supposed to have. Currently, we have 5,000, and this is a suspended amount. Remember, in last year's AGM in Houston, Texas, the members approved 100,000. And it's the same members now who will decide. The board can actually lift that suspension up to 100,000. And I've explained why we need share capital. If this Sacco is to succeed, we need share capital. How do we ensure this Sacco is able to have facilities to serve you members? It's through that share capital. But we shall pay dividend on you. Once you start participating actively, for example, we are projecting most members will borrow to add for 3 homes that we are unveiling today. If you all borrowed, I can tell you the kind of money we are going to raise from that project. It's not less than 50 million Kenya shilling. And part of that money will come back to you in form of dividend and interest. So it's actually a win-win situation. Because as a member, you borrow. How do you benefit? You benefit because you have income from that project, the rentals. And it's also gaining through the capital appreciation. How does the Sacco benefit? That interest income that we shall charge you, it creates some income for the Sacco, which we give back to you. If you borrow a loan from a bank today, and next year they declare a very huge profit, will they send you some back of that profit? They will tell you, get off. You are not an owner in this organization. So that's why members have a duty to ensure this Sacco succeeds. If we don't work hard to ensure this Sacco succeeds, we are all failing. Let's go to the next. Oh, sorry, so just a minute. Just wanted to highlight, the main savings are withdrawable within 60 days. That's important. The share capital is not withdrawable, but it's transferable. Let's go to the next. Yeah, the next one. I've talked the difference between the Sacco and the bank. Let's just see briefly. I'm saying a Sacco is not-for-profit member, it's a not-for-profit member-owned financial cooperative funded largely by voluntary member deposit. What about the banks? They are for-profit institutions owned by stakeholders. You are not part of those stakeholders. Let's go to the next. Another difference between the banks and the Sacco is the clientele. For Saccos, members have a common board. We have talked about the common board. Typically, no restriction in banks because all they are interested is profit. Next. The earnings. The Sacco will share the earnings with you. The banks will not share any earnings with you. That's all their profit. Let's go to the next. The governance. You have more participatory role in a Sacco. You can participate in decision through, you can even become a board member. In a bank, most likely, unless you are a major shareholder, that's the only time you can become a board member. Let's go to the next. Let's talk briefly about the Sacco, Kenya USA Diaspora Sacco product. Next. We have 3 products, mainly the savings, loans, and investment. Next. What are the savings? We have the main saving. This is our flagship product, and this is what will entitle you to a loan. If you don't have any saving in main saving, unfortunately, you will not qualify for any loan. We have Mavuno term deposit. For those members who are only interested in pure saving, growth of their money, and want to be in Sacco for a very short time, they want to get their money all the time, this is the best product for you. Save in Mavuno. Let's go to the next slide. And what I'm saying, the main saving I've talked about, this is what will entitle you to a loan. Next. For Mavuno, we are saying Mavuno term deposit is a fixed investment scheme designed to give you a guaranteed and competitive return on your money. Next. And we are saying with this product, you can fix it for maybe 3 months, 6 months, or even 12 months. Already there are members who have benefited from this product, seriously. And I can see one of them here. And there are some of you who don't know about it. So this is the opportunity. And just to clarify here, when we say it is 10% per annum, if you are investing your money for 3 months, it is prorated. You don't just get 10% of that. If you invest 300,000, the 10% is 30,000. That is if you invest for a full 1 year. That's what it's called per annum. But if you invest for 3 months, we shall have to do a proration because this is an annual rate. It's good to clarify that. Next. Then we have the development loans. We have the loans, we have development loans, we have premium loan, emergency loan, and mega loan. Currently, I think those 4 serve our needs. The development loan is for the major things. If you want to do some development, you go for normal or development loan. The premium loan, the development loan is repayable in 36 months. But we realize some members are straining financially, so we have to accommodate them. And that's the beauty about the Sacco. We have to accommodate everybody. So we pay, let's bring a premium loan. Pay us more interest extra, then we shall give you the loan for 4 years so that you are able to even take a bigger loan. So the difference between the normal and the premium loan is just the duration of repayment. Premium is payable 4 years, but you pay an extra 1% interest. The emergency, this is what I was talking about. You get it within 2 days, especially if you are borrowing within your saving or you have an already existing collateral. If you had borrowed loan previously, that means you already have your collateral, so it will take you a very short time. For a development loan, it will take time because you need a collateral, and that may take, because of the government processes, it will take a minimum of 1.5 months. But if once you charge that collateral, you can continue using that collateral for more than 1 loan. And that means you can, like there's one member who has already borrowed 4 times. While others are still watching to see what's happening, one member has borrowed 4 times. So, but to make it even beautiful, we have what we call a mega or consolidated loan. Sometimes you can have like 3-4 loans running concurrently. And for those who understand finance, for cash flow management, it messes you a bit. So you can consolidate all this loan in what we are calling a mega loan. And that's why you're able to manage your finances better. And it's also repayable within that 6 months. Next. I have spoken about, let's go to the next. Even that one I've spoken about. I've spoken about that one. Yeah, I think I've spoken about this. The investment. This is the 3rd product. I've just spoken about the Fadhili homes. I'm really looking on 2 members to participate in this one. I would like to encourage you to participate in Fadhili Homes, and I can tell you this is a decision that you will never regret. We are financing you 100% for the purchase cost, exclusive the government taxes and legal fees. You only need 1 million Kenya shilling to qualify for a house that we are selling at 4 million, 3-bedroom in a gated community. And this is a house that you can rent out as we speak for 20,000 Kenya shillings per month. And despite that, it will give you capital appreciation. So this is an investment that we are giving you. So we are giving you a reason to borrow from the Sacco. And this will be unveiled by Lois here. She will give more info about that product. Next. This was our flagship investment project, that is Senior Konza. I'm sure quite a number of you have benefited from this. Most of you bought 8 for 250,000 Kenya shillings. Those 8 right now are worth 250. Half a million, yeah, 250,000. Sorry, 500 million. Thousand, I meant. Sorry for that. Yeah. Exactly. That's the capital appreciation we are talking about. In Kenya, you can actually take advantage of capital appreciation, and which is among the highest in the world. Because in Kenya, you buy an asset today, within 3-4 years, it is completely double, triple the amount that you bought it. That's how you can take advantage as people who are in diaspora. So next. And what we are saying in conclusion, a Sacco offers much more than financial services. They provide members the chances to own their own financial institution. And help them to create opportunities such as starting small business, building family homes, and educating their children. So we are giving you more than financial services. And one of the way we are doing that is giving investment that you can invest on, like the Fadhili Home, which will be unveiled today. So we are making sure all your financial needs are taken care of, from saving to loans to where you're investing that money. It's a full house. So members, I'm so delighted that you are so keen on listening to this. I'm sure you understand your role in the Sacco, and I expect more participation from you through saving, through taking loans, and through investing. And at the end of the day, I'm sure by the time we return to the next AGM, the song will be different. Thank you so much. I really appreciate for this time.
You're not going away. Thank you so much, Pana GM, for the opportunity to explain to the members the services and, of course, the benefits of being a Sacco member. Now, we are going to take a few questions. I know there's a number of people who have expressed the need to some issues to be answered or clarified. I'll start with her. She had raised her hand earlier. And we are going to pick the question, and then she's going to be able to, the GM is going to be able to explain. Did you write it down? You can speak it up.
Okay. You have answered most of what I wanted to ask.
Yes.
It's like the cooperative.
For the people streaming online, we'll need it to be a little bit loud. Project your voice if you can, so that we can be heard properly. Thank you.
Do you have a mobile mic? You don't have a mic.
Yes, proceed.
Okay. You answered most of the question I wanted to ask.
And that's good.
As you spoke more.
Yes.
Okay. What I wanted to ask is, does it work like cooperative society? We used to have those things when we were at home. Is Sacco like a cooperative society?
What do you mean by cooperative society?
Cooperative society is like I worked in the bank, and we had a cooperative society for the bank. So does it work the same way?
Yeah,
where you can go and just borrow and then start paying as they take from your savings? But
Yes,
you answered
thank you. We are basically, the full name of a cooperative society is a savings and credit cooperative society. Savings and credit cooperative society. That is what actually we term as Sacco.
So in essence, a Sacco is a cooperative society.
Exactly.
And actually regulated by the cooperative department, cooperative movement.
Yeah, now how it works. It works like your Sacco that you had in there. That's an in-house Sacco. And that's why they were able to do a check-off. Unfortunately, this Sacco is unique. We cannot do a check-off because we even don't know where you work. That's the only difference between, that's the only difference between this Sacco and what you used to have. But because we are instilling a financial discipline in you, and we want to do this in a good faith, we shall give you the loan. We are not worried about the check-off. And we trust you shall be able to repay the Sacco using your own means. You can deposit that money. We have so many channels that you can make your contribution to. Maybe you could have clarified, what were you looking at?
No, this is my first time
Mhm.
heard about it
Yes.
from my daughter who is in the military.
Yes.
And she says, go and represent me.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Listen,
Uh-huh.
And then come and tell me.
Yeah,
So I have to get everything that you
you are lies.
Thank you.
I like that, and now you understand we are just like that Sacco. The only difference, you have to make your own arrangement to bring the money to the Sacco. That's the only difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you also save with your money without buying shares?
Yes, that's why we have the other product of the main savings. Shares, you only require to have the minimum, 5,000 Kenya shilling right now, the minimum. That's a must. Anything beyond that, you are at discretion to put it at main saving or Mavuno. For those who want to earn interest immediately, put it in Mavuno. Those who want to take advantage of borrowing, because that's the most central, take it in your main saving. Because while in Mavuno, I'll not give you a loan. I'll give you an interest. You get?
Yes, and for you to clarify that, for you to be a member, you need a bit of savings. So if you don't want to be a member, then you are not going to enjoy the other benefits. So it is important to have some shares, at least, to become a member. Thank you, thank you. The other question? Yes.
Yeah, my question is about the shares.
Yes.
I know in one of your,
Right.
yeah, you talked about 10% dividend.
Yes.
And I believe in one of your emails last year, October, you did mention to me that the shares were suspended. Because what I remember last AGM, it was rather projected we should have 100%.
100,000 Kenya shilling.
Yes,
Yeah.
and at some point that was suspended.
Yes.
Now, how do you pay dividends for only like 3% of the shares as opposed to 100? I think 15% as opposed to 100% of the shares. So can you explain? I'm lost. Can you
Yeah,
explain?
thank you, Sarah. This is one of the most serious member, and thank you to have you allowed. I appreciate you. Actually, you know why we had to suspend the issue of shares from 100,000 to 5,000? It's the pressure we are getting from members. Somebody has 100,000, they want to withdraw, and they're telling, why can't I get my money back? The member did not understand the Sacco model. So they wanted their money back, and we realized we are creating a lot of conflict with the members. And because I'm saying, most members are still not participating. And if you're not participating in Sacco product, the Sacco has no income. So currently, I'll be lying to you. We are not declaring any dividend because members are not participating. Members are also not saving. Out of about 1,300 members that we have in the register, only around 300 members are contributing per month. So why is the Sacco? See, I told you, this is your financial institution. So if you don't make contribution, if you don't participate, if you don't borrow, the Sacco has no income. You get now how the members come in? You participate. But what I'm saying, once you participate, it's a win-win situation. Because as a member, you develop, and the Sacco also develop, and it gives you part of that money. But this year will be a nice breaker, because I can see with these Fadhili homes that are coming, I'm sure everybody will be interested. And I'm sure maybe probably end of this year, we are going to declare dividend and interest on your saving. Sarah, I don't know whether I answered you completely.
Let me add something on that. Yeah. When you talk about suspension, we are not saying. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mr. Joking. I just want to clarify. When we talk about suspension, it was because, like he said, of the pressure we got from the members. But we have members who have actually paid up and own 100 shares in the Sacco. Now, because of that, at some point today, as the chairman comes and gives out his speech, we will be talking about those shares and why we must up our game and take serious participation in that capitalization that we do need. What you're trying to say is, if we don't take part in those share allocations, it's going to be very difficult to draw the agenda of this Sacco in terms of investments. What you're also trying to say is that, like Sarah, when you're talking about 5 shares against 100 or 10, each share has a value. So depending on the value of that share, when the dividend is going to be declared, you're going to be paid based on what you actually have. So we can have that as the moment goes on, but I think he's doing a very good job. Let him continue. Thanks.
So now, what I'm going to do at this point, because I think we still have a number of activities and programs going forward, a lot of the questions that you have are going to come at the Treasurer's report. And I know you're asking about the dividends and all those activities that require the financials. I think we would write those questions. I want to have all those questions. Everybody with a question, please put them down. I am going to be having them, and we are going to address each and every one of them. Because right now, what we want to do is to make sure that we don't delay the program as we move forward. So please write them down, those two for now. And we get now, I think, the secretary to get us to the next level. But we are going to address those questions. Please put them down and bring them to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Bwana GM. I think a big hand for our general manager. We board members work for free. He lives and breathes the Sacco. And every time he wakes up in the morning, he goes to the Sacco office. He's dealing with our issues. He has been in the Sacco movement for many years. He's a good friend. I have questions about the Sacco, I ask him. He has a free access. Send him any questions you have about your portfolio, about your account, about anything that you need to do. For those who came in after our introductions, my name is Eric Mwangi, board member and a founding member of this Sacco. I'm also the head of marketing. And I thank each one of you. What we are trying to do here today is to also just make sure that we honor and respect your time. And unlike many Kenyan events, we start on time, we're going to try and keep time. And that just shows the kind of discipline that you entrust on us, even with the kind of job that you've given us to do. So if you have any burning questions, just put them down, park them, and after every presentation, we'll have a short time to do a Q&A that will be moderated very ably by our vice chair. The chairman will be coming soon to talk to us, to give us our chairman's report. Half the time we have 3-4 pages on the chairman's report. You don't have that with you in front of you, but you have it directly to your email. It was sent to you on your email, so you have a copy of it. But before we do that, I'll give you a little brief about who the Sacco is and how we started, and I've done it in a little bit of a unique way. The first thing we do is look at our emblem being our logo. That's okay. Make sure we are all on mute. If you look at our logo, this is something that I'm proud to say I designed, and it looks like the presidential seal. Does it not look like the presidential seal? I just want you to understand it. So when someone asks you, you belong to this organization, what does it stand for? The first thing is our logo. It looks like the presidential seal. When you see Obama talking in front up here, something similar to that. Kweli rongo. Okay? So we are here in the US. To me, that's a status symbol. It stands out. Everybody can see it and can see what it means. On top of that, it has a house, iko na kibanda. As Kenyans, in terms of investment, even here in the US, owning a house or owning a piece of development, a house is a symbol, is it not? So it has a house, it's got the Kenyan colors inside the house. Around the house, it has some kind of leaves or matawi on the sides. That shows the greenery or the piece of land that you want to buy that you can either develop or for food. So that is that. So it's got the American colors, it's got the little house in there, it has the little green leaves to represent the land. And then on the bottom, it has a tagline on the strapline written, investing your dollars wisely. Most of you, where you went to school, you had a little emblem or badge on your blazer, or and under that there was always what did you call it? A motto. Our motto here is we want to invest your dollars, or you invest your dollars wisely. We are not investing for you. You're investing for yourself. Okay? And this is an organized and reliable way to invest back home. We provide a viable vehicle. I want to also thank a few of us out there streaming live for waking up early in the morning, people who've helped us market this organization, Mwakilishi Media out there, my Kenyan link in Atlanta, Diaspora Messenger, I don't know if he's here right now, but he's somewhere, ACPA in Atlanta, ABN Worldwide, and many other organizations that are helping stream this event live. This is actually the 4th AGM since inception. Our first 2 AGMs were held in Atlanta because that's where the organization was formed. Some of you were not here when we started, and I'm going to show you the founding 5 members of these organizations. And a lot of organizations start, and after a while, the founding members will phase out, but as long as their vision is carried forward. The person who came up with the idea way back 2009, 10, 11, a group of friends of us, we sat down, we were part of another group, but we said, let's think about how we can come up with a vehicle that can help invest back home. Our chairman, Bwana Frank Yoko, I want you to stand and remain standing. Angela Karanja, stand and just remain standing. Rose Musyoka, stand, remain standing. Ralph Kilondu, stand and remain standing. That is 4, and I'll be your 5th one. Big hand for these 5 people. Okay, have a seat. This baby is about 5 years old. You don't want to rock the boat at 5 years old. This baby has been crawling, now he's walking, or she's walking. And we are very proud of where we've come. Here in the diaspora, we are very skeptical about investment programs or any investment schemes because we've been burnt many, many, many times. So the first 5 years, people have a wait and see attitude. And we thank you as members for having joined us to see if this is a viable vehicle. I can promise you, in a few years to come, this Sacco is going to blow up because you're going to go home, you're going to tell your daughter in the military about the Sacco. So I won't say much more, but I want to show you through a video about what the Sacco has done. We have traversed this, the 50 states in the US in the last 5 years. We've gone back to Kenya, back and forth. We have representatives back in Kenya. And we are a unique Sacco. Unlike the Saccos back home, we want to make sure that we can cater for you. The same way Wells Fargo caters for you. You can call Wells Fargo and you're given an answer. We have an e-online system. We are the first e-Sacco. What does that mean? That all your stuff can be handled online. And where we can't, we are able to have, we have a staff member here in Atlanta and we have a staff member back in the US. So we have 2 offices. So the fact that we are trying to be 24 hours as much as possible, and sometimes if we are not able to reach you, we are trying to get to you. I don't know if we have that movie ready? Okay, let's turn off the lights and let's get it going. Thank you very much. You're gonna dim the lights? Yep, pictures speak 1,000 words, and you can see we've been up and down this US. Without further ado, I'd like to present to you the chairman of the Sacco to present his chairman's report and to take us through the program as well. Thank you, everybody.
How is everybody doing? So sorry, because we were going through the history. I got a little bit emotional, and it, then I can have Angela read my report, and I can make just a few comments. But it's
Let's give the chair a minute to recollect his thoughts. I forgot to, when I was introducing the board, to then bring the other board members for the people who came in a little bit later. Vice Chair, stand and remain standing. Vice Chair, big hand for Vice Chair. Vice Chair, Diasporan here many years in Texas. Now he's representing us in Kenya and helping walk up and down to try and help this organization stay ahead. Vice Chair, stay standing. Bwana David Chege, all the way from Sacramento. New board member, head of finance, big hand. And then we have Miss Catherine from Seattle, head of credit. Catherine and David both traveled with their families. They said, "Iyo sako tunaenda tunakuja kuona what it's about." So they are all here, and I really appreciate. So remain standing. And then we have our local mzee wa kijiji from this particular area in Baltimore. We have Bwana Sang. Okay, have a seat. Thank you. And so, just like any organization, we need injection of new ideas, and that's why we brought the new board members to the team. We are trying to buy time so that the chair can recollect. And it is interesting to see how emotional you can get, because when you start an idea and you don't realize how far it can go, because you think this is going to be one or two people who are going to buy your idea. But this baby picks up and has a life of its own. Bwana Chair, I think we are with you, and present to the members. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we won't get through this, but I want to take this moment to welcome every one of you. I know this report is detailed, is many pages, and it was sent to your email. I understand if we do download it, probably we're going to interfere with our streaming, online streaming. And then my advice would be, let's just listen, because even me, I'm not gonna read it. I'll just highlight a few things and then I'll sit down. And then you can go home and because it's detailed, you can read for yourself and be able to understand everything. I tried as much as I could to address the current position of our Sacco, and I went detailed into the finances, which I'm going to comment as I go along. And the reason I did that is because I wanted every member to understand where we are. And I can tell you, when we started this, no one of us current here had an idea of where this Sacco is going. And even though the last 3 years that it's been actively in operation, it's not been easy, and we've not been able to report profit. But I can tell you one thing, this year is a turning point for this Sacco. And those of you who have been patient and waiting and supporting the idea regardless of everything else, I am sure 100% soon and very soon you are in. You'll be proud of yourself that you got in even when the others were sitting on the fence and waiting to see whether this thing can really work or it cannot work. So I want to thank all of you, first of all, for attending this NGM and being supportive of this idea. I've been in diaspora now 16 years. I've seen so many people come out with great ideas that never go anywhere. And it's always humbling when you come up with an idea and you share it to people, and people just embrace it and they support it. Not only that, they take it to the next level. let me be the first one to submit that if this circle was going to be where it is because of me, I tell you it would have been dead many years ago. But the reason why this circle is where it is because of the hard work that the board members have put. As I said earlier, these guys, I call them guys because they are friends, they work round the clock. They make tough decisions, sometimes risk decisions. But one thing we are always sure 100% is whatever decision you make, whatever project we bring to the members is clean, is viable, it is going to add value to you. We never compromise. I've been back and forth in Kenya, and those who are in Kenya, they can tell you, you can very easily be compromised if you don't have your backbone. But I can tell you without a single doubt that compromise, none of the board members here even ever think about it. And not because we don't get all these people, corrupt-minded people, who wants to buy us or sell our property and do this or that stuff. We get them. But one of the reasons that always guides our thinking and gives us energy and the power to continue is because we understand the pain that diaspora people have gone through. And we want this vehicle to be a vehicle that can be trusted by you and your children and the children of your children. We didn't start something that is going to end. And I can tell you without a single doubt that this circle is going to be around many years and it's going to really change people's lives. I don't doubt that. But in my report, I've written so much, but I want to address some few things that are of major concern. And one of the things that I want to address is, I want to say during the financial year that just ended, the circle registered impressive growth in many areas. And some of those is the total assets actually grew from by 251% to stand at 79.2 million compared to last year where it was at 1.5 million. Member deposits grew by 244%. And now we stand at 69.1 million compared to last year, which was 28.3 million. Other members' savings grew by 481% compared to last year, while share capital went up by 240% compared to last year. So the loan portfolio actually rose by 17.8 million, and alternative investments stood at 40.6 million. That's exactly what GM was talking about. When you talk about alternative investment, that means if we are only giving 18 million, 17.8 million to members as loans, and then we have 40 million, and that was last year, now the story is different this year. We have 40 million that we are giving, we are investing in money markets and other areas, then that's not good. And actually one disadvantage of that is that this alternative investment, it gets taxed regardless of whether the circle is making profit or not. And the tax is merciless, it's a heavy tax that is imposed by the government for simple reasons that circles were never meant to put their money in the markets. They were meant to put their money to give our members loans, affordable loans, so that they can develop. So the government kind of tries to tell you, hey, you know what? We need to tax you here so that you keep the core business and not try to look elsewhere. And that's impressive. Anyway, so, and of course, our membership went up by 40%, but not exactly where the circle wanted the membership to be. At this point, we were expecting at this point according to our projection, we were expecting to be having 10,000 members active actually, but right now that's not where we are. But nothing really to worry about, because I know this Sacco is growing, sure, and right. It may be slow, it may be not what we want, but I can guarantee there's no need to panic, because it's not even the number that matters. It's actually the commitment of the people. Even if all the members were just the ones that are seated here today, this group here is capable of doing wonders. Just the members who are here. I can see we are about maybe around 100 or so, because almost every seat is taken up, maybe 80 to 100. But what I can tell you is, even if we were just the only members, this is enough to change everything. Let me talk a little bit about the operating deficit that we have. This year, last year rather, 2015, we had a deficit of 9.2 million. I know this is not something that is really, funny to talk about. Actually, it's a regrettable results that we got. But let me break it down for you a little bit. And the reason why this deficit came. Of course, one of the reasons is because in 2014, we had a deal with KCB. And this deal was simply to make sure that we have money that we can give you when you come for loans. And because of that, we went ahead, the board went ahead and had a very good understanding MOU. It was in the media, 10 billion failed. Most of you may have read that. But then, now one of the requirements was that then the money that we collected from your members, we put it in KCB, and we actually did that. But then what happened was, after doing that, then I don't know, the security department or whatever department came up with the issue of our AML, that is anti-money laundering policy. They started asking us to give that policy. And then we embarked on a major development of that policy. But generally, within that time, we were trying to get the policy together. Now they decided this money, we cannot withdraw it, we cannot invest it, we cannot do anything. And that was 18.5 million. And as a result of that back and forth, which lasted for about 10 months, eventually we were able to get the money. But then what happened was we got the money, and then, of course, the time was almost up, but we were able to get the money back, but that denied us an income of about 2 million that we could have had. So that would have reduced our deficit to 7.2 now. And then the other cost, a major cost, is staff cost. And staff cost here in the US is really expensive. Labor cost, rather. This actually totaled to about 6 million alone, the amount that we paid the staff. It came to about 6 million, and now what that tells you that is actually is the staff cost alone is 26% of our total expenditure in the Sacco. That means if we didn't have staff, then we would be looking at probably no deficit, or maybe just a deficit of 3.2 minus the money. If we invested that money, by now even those two major expenses, we'd be talking of a deficit of about $1 million or less. And the other part, the other expense that takes our money is the NGM cost. Actually, we are going to rethink NGM. And with your permission, we want to sit down with the board members and rethink the most affordable and effective way to do the NGM. This, we are in touch with the ministry so that we are sure that we are not in violation of anything. And so when you see changes coming next year, just bear with us, because we want to cut down on that cost. Actually, the cost for NGM last year stood for 2.6 million. This year, I bet it could be around the same amount, if not higher. About staff, going back to that point, we are thinking ways and means of cutting down cost on staff. So when you see some of the services being requested by the board members to send some documents directly maybe to Kenya, please bear with us, because the cost here for sustaining staff here is unbearable compared to Kenya. And that's where actually that consumed about 80% of our deficit alone. Marketing is another huge cost. As you may know, flying from one state to another, hiring hotels and, or staying in a hotel, cars and all that costs a lot of money. The board has suspended a little bit of marketing last year. But you see that as a side effect, because if we don't reach to you people, we don't explain what it is, then most likely we're not even gonna have members. So what we are trying to do right now, we're thinking through with the board members to make sure that we can do smart marketing. And we want you guys to get involved, members. You need to get involved. We need your help. Whichever city you come from, whichever state you come from, you can be the Sacco representative. You can be our appointment in that city. And what we can do, we can equip you, empower you. Probably when the Sacco starts making money, we can give you a little incentive. That will significantly cut our costs, to know that there's someone in the city constantly marketing the Sacco, educating people. That will cut traveling and hotel expenses. And probably what you need to pay is maybe a desk whenever there's an event, and you can represent us. So that's one of the approaches we are, and I believe at some point we will be asking you to apply to represent the Sacco in your city, in your state. Please, once you send this request, know that we want to cut down on this cost, and we want you to be involved, and we want to reach everybody, because that's an easier way to grow the Sacco. It's like killing two birds with one stone. I'm just putting that emphasis because we need your help in addressing this. Of course, the other one is because we didn't start offering loans until towards the end of last year. So the loan amount that was generated, the income from loans, was just a small percentage, like the last quarter of last year. And I can tell you that we are aggressive about making sure that we do not have this deficit again. I do believe, and I don't have any doubt in my heart and in my mind, telling you that I do believe last year was the year we had deficit, no more deficits going forward. Because as we talk, we've already put in place measures and steps to make sure that the deficit is no longer there. We cut down on our cost and we boost our income so that we can have the money to pay the dividends, and so that you people can even put more money in the Sacco. And that's exactly what we want to do. First of all, the operations costs are going to go down. As I said, we have to rethink how to serve you people better with minimum cost possible. We are cutting down on areas like already in our office, the office in Nairobi. We had to transfer that list to somebody else, so that instead of paying what we were paying, 170,000 a month, now it come down to only 50,000, inclusive of all bills and everything. So that's already something we've done already this year. And we're already doing it in Atlanta office. We're rethinking. If the worst come to the worst, you call somebody and they answer you from their cell phone, just bear with us. We cannot keep on having this cost. This money is supposed to help members. So in Atlanta office, we have measures, and if it doesn't work, we will do away with it. I can tell you that. Every board member agrees. We have to do something about it so that it can cut down on cost. That office alone consumes quite a bit, probably a little bit more than the one back in Kenya. And we already either going to supplant it so that the cost for the Sacco is minimal, or do whatever we have to do. But I can promise you something is going to be done to make sure that that cost comes down. We are also diversifying a lot of income, and I know a lot has been said about Fadhili homes. This, I believe, is going to be a huge turnaround for the Sacco, because every house we are selling, the Sacco is going to make money. And of course, that money is not small money, and I do believe we can be able to declare some dividends. I don't want to be over optimistic, but I'm trying to tell you some of the reasons, some of the things, some of the steps, some of the measures we're taking to make sure that we can turn around the Sacco this year, so that as we come to the next NGM, we can tell you exactly, we can be happy. Tell you that no more deficit, and we declared some dividends. So that's going to happen. And another reason why we need you to be our advocate is to make sure that once we review and we launch the Fadhili homes, you become the advocate. You become the high for the Sacco in that city. And you can sell these homes because you know, for one, is going to help the Sacco turn around as people get better investment, value for their money, and something that can appreciate in value. But I don't want to measure more on that one because the head of investment will be here to tell us more about that one. So those are some of the measures we are taking, and of course we are encouraging people to take loans. I can't emphasize enough, GM was big on that one. I don't want to take a lot of time because I know there's a lot of talking and you guys are getting tired. And then Mavuno account. Let me tell you something about Mavuno account. Mavuno account is the real deal. Is the best product ever this Sacco produced, in addition, of course, to loans. Because I know all of you sitting here, you do have some money sitting somewhere. And some of that money actually is in some account in Kenya. And it's earning nothing, zero. And some of you say, okay, I want to put it there, and in Kenya, I can get this money and I can use it. Yeah, while you figure out when you're going to go to Kenya, bring that money to Mavuno account. It's going to earn something. The banks there won't give you anything. And trust me, I'm a businessman. I did money transfer. I marketed Equity Bank. Some of you may have met me first time when I was marketing Equity Bank. And I used to see people send millions, a lot of money. And one of the problems we had is that this money was just sitting in the account. If we try to tell them to invest in a fixed deposit, the bank is not friendly on that. They may do it, but then they want you to go back to Kenya and roll it over, some of the banks. They can't do when you're here. Now, you don't have to worry about that because whatever interest you're giving you is way better than what you can get from a bank. Range of 3 to 10% is best at any time in Kenya. Most of them will give you 5%, 6%, regardless of the amount. If the amount is low, you can even get 2%. So here is a product that can help you constantly earn some return on whatever cash that you have. So I want us to take advantage of this product. This, just a little bit about Fadhili homes. I was privileged to be involved in the process, and I can tell you, there's no better deal than this one, but I'll leave it at that, because the owner is coming here to tell us more. In addition to that, a lot of changes happened last year, and of course, we know we got some new staff members. If you, all of you may remember, GM joined us last year, and he has been a blessing to this Sacco. Much of these decisions you're making is really coming handy. He's a very qualified, well-able staff member, and we can thank you enough, Pana GM, for the contribution that you brought to this Sacco. We appreciate it. We also hired one more staff member in Nairobi, and our goal is to have more staff members back there because the labor is affordable instead of having many here. So we're going to get more. And also last year is when we got the supervisory committee. You remember last NGM, you said we cannot do some things until we have an oversight body, that supervisory committee. And what indeed, the process was very transparent. We told them apply. They applied. Actually, we went ahead and engaged them according to some of them, even the way they were contributing in the NGM, last year NGM. And we are sure, we are happy that the board was able to do the right thing, pick very qualified people and serious people. They'll be doing their presentation. When that time comes, they will be doing their thing. You know, this is like an opposition, not really an opposition, but they're supposed to oversight us. So I don't know what is in their report, and I don't want to say nothing much about them. They'll speak for themselves. Okay, we also did co-opting of board members. You've seen from board members, Catherine from Seattle, David Shege from San Francisco. We have Mr. Sang here. This gentleman seated here is not just a media. He didn't get time to talk, by the way, when you were talking, but he's been very instrumental in helping us to even have this NGM around here. And then we do have, of course, Eric. Eric was co-opted back because Eric is one of those guys who we love him so much. He has really done a lot. Even when he was not a board member, he was working closely with the Sacco in ensuring that the marketing part of it is right. And much of the stuff that goes in marketing, he designed himself. Let me say this as I finalize. I know the deficit is not something that people want to hear, and I do know that is worrying. But also, let's be realistic. Even a new company takes about 3 years if it's really good enough to break even. And some of them, they may take up to 5 years. But as I stand here, I am 100% sure that we will never talk about deficit again in this Sacco. That is a thing of the past because of the measures that are put in place. But I want to challenge you as I finish up my report. You can go and read line by line. It has a lot of stuff, but I don't want to dwell on that. I want us to think together, and I want us to think big, and I want us to think outside box. Because this is a good vehicle that we have, but it may mean nothing unless you take advantage of it. First of all, we need to hone it. You will never benefit from something that you don't believe in. We need to hone it as members, and we need to think not just homes, which are good, not just plots that are good, true, but I want us to think of how we can make real money, real wealth for ourselves. How about coming up with the companies we begin, do something. Kenya is prime, life is ready for investments. And what we are doing, we are allowing Chinese to come invest in our country. No offense to them. They are helping us develop. Allowing South Africans, I understand now they are bringing their money to Kenya to invest. And I just came from Kenya on Thursday, and I can tell you, you can go everywhere. There is either construction or something going on, or a new company, or a new whatever, opening up, a new business. I want us to think and think big, and think how can we put our money together and do the doing. It's okay to own a small home here and there, and it's okay to do that. But can we come up with something, a company that you invest in today, or an investment, a venture that you get into, and it can make you money? Even when you're not there, you really don't have to work it out. And even when you're gone, your kids can still continue to benefit from it. This is what I want us to think. If you have any ideas how we can do this and do it well, bring the idea, And once you bring the idea, because board members don't know it, they don't know everything. I mean, we can't sit and say the 9 heads understand everything. No, we are very much open to anyone with challenging great idea, which can transform us, which we can put our money and earn it big time, now and in the future. And this is the challenge I need to leave you with. So very soon we're going to be bringing proposals that probably may surprise some of you, but it's because we want to go to the next level. Times to mark time and keep suspecting and saying whether my money is safe and all that, that's a thing of the past. There's law, there's everything that we need to get to which can govern us. But my appeal to you is let's think outside box and let's do great things. Allow me to address one area of share capital. This share capital idea that we increased to 100,000 is probably the best idea that we came up with. But we realized that also members did not understand it well. And one of the things that we proud ourselves with is to make sure that we move with the members. If you realize members, we are losing on members, whether they are right or wrong, we have a duty to protect them. So what we did was not suspending the 100,000 shares, because there are still people contributing towards that goal. What we did was suspending, requiring 100,000 shares as a requirement before you qualify for a loan or before you come for a product. Let's get that right. There was no suspension of, we didn't say members now don't need to bring 100,000 shares. No. We said, we used to require you, before you come for a loan, you must have paid fully your shares, share capital for 100,000. So we sat down as board members and said, now going forward, let's not put this as a requirement. We will go ahead and give you all the services that you want as you build your share capital to 100,000 shares. In other words, we will not refuse to give you any benefit, whether it's loan or whatever, or refuse you to buy for 3 homes because you do not have the 100,000 shares. That needs to be very clear. So you still need to continue paying your shares towards getting to 100,000 shares. Very important. 2, about these shares. Now, when you talk of there's minimum shares, and then there's 100,000 shares. Minimum shares, as per our bylaws, is 5,000. Now, 5,000 is what is not refundable when you get out of the Sacco. But the 100,000 shares is a capital, yes, but that one can be refunded. 95,000 shares can be refunded to you if you decide to leave the Sacco. So that needs to be very clear. There is the minimum required, which up to now, when you join the Sacco, you need to pay 5,000 immediately. That comes with the first check that you pay to the Sacco. But then you start building. You build to 100,000 shares. Then maybe a year later, you decide you want to get out of the Sacco. We will refund your total savings minus any loans that you may have. Then we also refund 95,000 of the shares. Now the shares that we are not going to refund you is the 5,000 shares. That you can sell, you can transfer, or you can continue earning. But what we are saying is not mandatory. You still can leave the 100,000 shares there, and still it can continue earning dividend. Now, I believe this deal is sweeter, is nice, and I do believe that's what we did not clarify to the members, and I think that's why it raised concern to most members, and they were like, why do you want my 100,000 shares? And after all, when I leave, you are not even going to refund the money to me. That is what was not clear, and I want to clarify. But most important, what I want you to do, I want you to leave this NGM today, knowing it's a turning point, and knowing that it's time to go higher, it's time to do great things, is You become the preacher, go and preach it in your area, wherever you come from. Tell people why they should join the Sacco. And I can tell you together, we're going to go places. Together, we're going to build this vehicle. And together, we'll be happy as we get return on our investment. Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless Kenya, USA, and Diaspora Sacco.
Thank you so much, Chair. Another loud of appreciation to the Chair for that great presentation. One thing that I want to make a quick clarification, Chair, is on the shares. It is not 100,000 shares. It is 100 shares at 1,000 shillings, which equals 100,000 shillings. Not 5,000 shares. It is 5 shares, 1,000 each, 5 shares. So yeah, I know. 1,000 shillings. No, not 5,000 shares. So that would be too many shares for the Sacco to bear, to be able to hold. So thank you, but thank you so much for the presentation. Now, two things, housekeeping. I don't know whether we expressed where our restrooms and other areas are. They are straight on your right-hand side after the elevators. You'll be able to find them at that corner. We have refreshments outside. We are not having normal breaks, where you're saying break now, go do ABCD, because of the way the schedule is going to be. So there are refreshments outside. Whenever you want to stretch, get out, go have a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, and then come back. But we are going to be breaking for lunch shortly. But before we do that, what I want to do is now get the Q&A session where we answer some of those questions that were coming across, and also any questions that you have on the chairman's report, we are going to address them now. So now what we are going to do, I requested for the questions to be written down so that you can be able to run through them quickly. Eric, could you help me in collecting some of those? Like Collins, and see his hand is up. We don't have a microphone, an extra microphone. That's the unfortunate thing. And then we are going to waste a lot of time if everybody has to stand and come out.
Yes, I can talk loudly.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, I don't want to talk. I wanted to do more listening. It's not my method to be talking, but I have to talk on 3 things that I think is very important.
Yes.
Yeah,
You come
you
over.
already have it.
I think we really appreciate the board. You guys are doing a good job, but in the chairman's report, I think there are 3 fundamental things that we need to appreciate. Deficits will always be there. You don't promise us heaven, and you tomorrow next year you will be hard to swallow. I think that would not be a good precedence. In the highlights of the report, the deficits that I saw, 3 of them should not be there, and I think I want to apologize on behalf of the staff. Staff costs will always be there, whether it's minimal or it's higher. And I think members can agree with me, the presentation of the general manager was superlative. And I think that really leads to my comment that I wanted to make. I don't know the education members, the education committee, but they're sleeping on the job. They need to wake up. They need to wake up. And we are correcting the committee because we love you, not because we are fighting you. This is we are members, and I think if we don't share with you candidly, we are not helping you. So the reality of the matter is we need to empower the general manager so that we can reduce those costs. Some of the highlights that he gave here are very critical. But I have to say that we've been going for functions, whether embassy and all, especially the people in the DC region, and we've been talking about the Sacco, but it's been missing in action. Let's just be honest. It's been missing in action. The last one was an investment that was in DC, which was being presided over by the ambassador. The Sacco was not, we were trying to share with people about the Sacco, but the Sacco was missing in action. I think it's important that we get good strategies that can reach out. And I think the other committees that have been constituted, be it education committee, be it credit committee, be it marketing or supervisory committee, let's come out and work I think this big man syndrome shoe, I thought we left it at home, but I think it's coming back here, right? Now, then the last thing that I had was this.
You don't consume all the time because
Okay.
you have other members.
Yeah, I'm talking for the
Please,
last time,
please.
Chairman, because I'll not talk again.
Okay.
I think for the committee, and this is I'm talking on behalf of myself as a member, part of the challenge we have, members, AGM is the ultimate authority of ratifying SACCO's decisions. We've given you the mandate as the management committee, but don't go and sit there. Part of the decisions you make in the middle of the year of changing to 100,000, which you shelve, was a wrong one because we are supposed to ratify those big changes in the AGM. So all major changes, we don't want you guys to come and tell us that, oh, we did this in the middle of the year. Now we're explaining it. AGM is the ultimate authority of the membership decision making. We don't expect any decision being made without ratified. So that one we are requesting. We don't want to see surprises. And last but not least, we are really happy with what you're doing. And above all, reach us. You know, some of us, we've been in circles. We don't want to take your position, but we're also putting you guys on notice. If you do a mediocre work, we'll be throwing some of you out. But we want to support you. We'll give you the best. And please reach the members and do the job. So far, you're doing very good, but I'm seeing you guys a little bit fearful, you know, when you're criticized, oh, he wants to. Some of us are watching what you're doing keenly, and come next year when that Ongeri will be here, he'll not be campaigning. We'll tell him, those who don't sleep in the job, believe me not, will be raising concern.
Thank you, Collins. Collins is one member who is always on the AGM, and he doesn't fear to speak his mind, and is one of the members that we really appreciate because without the feedback from you members, we cannot assume that we are doing a good job. Collins, one clarification on the items that you have raised. One, in terms of member education and, of course, marketing, what has happened is that we were constituting those committees, and you remember you allowed us, you gave us the ratification in the last AGM to bring them on board. Now they are on board, so if they don't perform, definitely we have a concern. The second thing is the budget. Now, we are going to be presenting a budget this year for the member training and marketing programs that are going to run 2016-2017. So if things don't happen and we spend that money, then you have a reason really to kick us next year when that opportunity comes. So we have those already in place. And remember, like the chair said, we are within 3 years of formation. There are quite a number of things that really we are trying to make sure we are learning as we are getting in, and we are getting better with, of course, your feedback as well. So don't feel shy of telling us where we are failing. And we don't feel bad because you come over and speak the truth. Tell us what is working and what is not working and what you think we can do better. We really appreciate that. Now, on... Yes, please. You can come over. Okay.
Thank you, members. Collins, I support what you're saying. But at the same time, I want all of us to understand that the Sacco is member-owned, and please correct me if I'm wrong. I believe as a member, I have a right to market the Sacco. So if I go to a function where I feel people need to know about the Sacco, I will speak it out because Sacco is me, not them. So as members, we need to market the Sacco and grow it to further, ends. Thank you.
That is so true. Thank you so much, because actually I think that's the model we need to adopt. It is not them, the board members, who are going to really spread the message across. It is you, the member. Remember what the GM said. When you have the shares in the Sacco, you are a member owner of the Sacco. As you give us the money to be able to help you to propel to the next level, but you have a responsibility as a member. Secondly, the chair has alluded to where you're saying we are going to have you members becoming, what terminology did you use? The agents, wherever you are going to become an agent in whatever city you are. The board cannot be all over this country. We can't be in every corner of this country. But you as a member, you can represent the Sacco in your own capacity wherever we are. And I think it is going to be great if we take that, because it is our responsibility also as members, really, to be able to understand what is required of us in our obligation. I need to pick another question. There are those questions that were there. Eric, I think we have some questions.
Yeah. I'll get it.
Okay. And there's a gentleman at the corner on the other side raising their hand. And Madam Secretary, please let me know how much time we have so that we don't cross over to the lunch, because 5 questions already. Let me deal with those first, please. Let me deal with the 5 first, so that if we have more time, we'll be able to take the others, or we will offload others to the next session.
We have about 28.5 minutes.
28.5 minutes, okay. David, not 28.5. That's what I'm being told. Okay. All right. I have the name. Now, when you do the question, please put your name on the question so that when I'm addressing it, I make sure that it is addressed effectively to the member who has raised the question.
Just read it, we'll get the name.
Okay. You're saying the members get a loan without check-offs, meaning the Sacco does not ensure how the member will pay back the loan. So what will happen if the member does not pay back the loan? Who was that question for? Your name, please? Pauline. Could the GM will come over? Let me read all of them so that as we are coming in, we know who is going to be addressing what. The second one, what are the requirements of obtaining a loan? So, Bwana GM, that one you'll be able to address, to combine those two. How to requirements of getting a loan, so you'll be able to express that. Whose question was that? Your names, please? Samuel Jenga. The other one is the same. Oh, no. Yeah, actually, it's almost the same. Requirements of getting a loan. Those are 3, almost the same. Now, the other one, okay, is I am a guest but interested in joining Sacco, since currently I am not a member or no savings previously. Is this Vadiri Homes out of my reach? That one is simple. It will be answered, members and non-members, and that the presentation that it comes in, I'll pack that one in, but the GM may mention that. But of course, that will be addressed by the Vadili presentation. Then the other one is, we have good time for me. That was my message by the secretary. She is telling me that we still have some good time for the questions. So I thought it was another question. So can you have delegates, various states, to help further the marketing and assisting members when necessary? And this is what the chairman has talked about and have alluded to. Yes, we want agents in various regions, and we are going to be requesting opening up for applications to come through. For you to become an agent, it's not a matter of saying I am a member and I won't become an agent. There is a process that we are going to follow to make sure that we are getting the right people who have the right desire to do what needs to be done. One thing that I want to caution as we go through that, please don't pay. The board members work currently without any pay, without any expecting to have any remunerations from the Sacco. It is voluntary. So when you are going to allow yourself to be an agent, remember, don't come over saying that you are demanding a paycheck at the end of the month. Now, I want to make sure that that is very clear, so that we are going in, you understand what you are in for. Okay? All right. Now, the other one is, will the financial institutions in Kenya, with the financial institutions in Kenya going under and many in questionable status, which means are being taken to ensure safekeeping of our funds? That's question number 1. Question number 2, I will address that. Question number 2, how is the Sacco registered in USA, and how is the Sacco registered in US, and how is our financials how is our financials reported? Well, I will attempt to answer that. Confirmation of funds deposited in Kenya take too long. Are proper appraisals of investment carried to ensure value and group membership? There is somebody who has raised 6 questions. I'll deal with those one by one so that we can be able to address. Where I do not need to address will be addressed by somebody else. What happens if the Sacco closes? It's a good question there. Yes. Then there is another one. Can you address the potential risks the Sacco and the member? Okay, business protection. Can you address the potential risks to the Sacco and the member? Okay, let's begin with the first one. Bwana GM, you can come over and address this. I am going to attempt to have these others addressed by the various board members.
Okay, thank you to have me once again. I'm delighted to answer your questions. And these are good questions because it shows members are now ready to participate, and this one makes me feel more delighted. Thank you, Pauline, for your question. And I'm actually delighted that you asked this question. And what you're asking is, it's about the check-off system. We would wish to have the check-off system. We would wish to have the check-off system. But how do we do it? This Sacco is unique. All of you are under different employers, or you work independently. How do we enforce check-off? Exactly, yeah. And that's the reason why most of you don't qualify for bank loans. Because how many employers are willing to be entangled in a Kenyan entity financial arrangement? How many are willing? In fact, some of your employers refuse even to guarantee that you are employed by them. Leave alone do check-off. That's why I said we would wish to have it. But if we do that, most of you will not qualify for loans. And what I want to see is you qualify for loans. What I know, in any society, if you have 100 members, only between 2 to 3% will refuse to pay their loans. And currently, you can't go far, even in Kenya, without paying loans. Because there are credit reference bureaus. Guys will blacklist you. You try to move the Sacco, go to the bank, they'll tell you, you know what? This Sacco, you know, Kenya USA Diaspora Sacco, go and pay it. We can't give you more money. Even in Kenya, Credit Reference Bureau is working. If you default or no, you'll be blacklisted, and you cannot be able to borrow anywhere. Do you want your name to be blacklisted? Once your name is blacklisted, for 5 years, somebody will know Fred defaulted on Kenya USA Diaspora loan. And you can be sure how that one messes you. So, we would wish to have a check-off, but if we enforce check-off, most of you will not qualify for loans because most of your employer will refuse even to give that check-off. So that's why we have made it flexible. And so far, I can guarantee, we have about 30 members with loan. They are all paying religiously without any problem. And they make arrangement on how that money will get to the Sacco. We would wish it to remain like that. But if the members so feel that we require check-off, then, as one of the members calling have said, the Sacco AGM is the supreme authority. You can tell us how it will work, we shall enforce it. Then, on the second question that I want to answer, what are the loan requirements? As a Sacco, we try to make it very simple for you to qualify for a loan. But there are 4 things that you must meet. One of them is your main savings. You want a loan of 1 million? We need 250,000 from you. I would wish to give you, but if you only have maybe 20,000, I can only give you 80,000. So that's the starting point. Once you have a minimum number of saving, you multiply that one by the loan factor, and you can qualify for that. But above that, for you to qualify for a loan, as Madam Pauline is putting here, we need to assess that you have ability to earn income. So you must have a source of income. How do you demonstrate a source of income? There are two ways. You can bring us the pay tabs, or you can bring us your bank statement. One of them will demonstrate this person works and they're able to get some money. Then based on that, we shall evaluate and see what is the average income, and we shall know this person qualifies for this kind of loan. So you need a consistent income. It may fluctuate, but at least it's coming there monthly, weekly, or whichever. The other thing that you require, for you to qualify for any loan or any development project, you require identification document. One of them, and because remember this Sacco is a Kenyan entity, we are still exploring whether we can have double registration here in Kenya, here in US and back in Kenya. But currently, this is a Kenyan entity. So if you don't have a Kenyan passport, ID, either of them, you either have a passport or ID, whichever you have, we don't worry. Most of you have a passport, we are fine with that. The other essential document that you must have is the PIN. In Kenya, you cannot do any investment without a PIN. And this is one way of government also enforcing the taxation. So for us to give you a loan, you need a PIN and a passport, or a PIN and an ID. That's for identification. Then if you are borrowing more beyond your loan, if you have savings of 500,000 and you want a loan of maybe 480,000, we shall not ask you for any collateral. That one you just come, give me your loan application, bring your identification, within 2 days, 3 days, you have your money. But if you want to, you have 500,000 and you want to borrow 2 million, to ensure that somebody like Pauline is taken care of, because I'm sure why she's asking that, because she can end up losing her money. She has saved with the Sacco. We don't want to, so we shall ask you for loan collateral. That's how we deal with those people that are borrowing more. Because now you want 2 million, you have to give us collateral equivalent to 1.5. That means if in case you default, the asset that you have pledged as collateral will have to be sold, and that's how we shall recover the money from that person who has defaulted. But so far, I can guarantee you, this issue of default, it's not there. Actually, I'm surprised. Most members pay religiously, and actually most of them overpay. We expect them to pay like 30,000 Kenya shilling, they pay 50. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Bona GM. Thank you. That is awesome. I think we are doing good in time. We are almost getting time for lunch. But before that happens, there are two questions that we're going to address out here. I think I need to combine these two before I come to the big checklist. There's one here which is a large checklist of issues the members have raised. Now, this one is, can you address the potential risks the Sacco to the, okay, that is for you, Pana GM. You are the administrative guy. I don't want to assume your role. Can you address the potential risks to the Sacco and the member? And then what happens if the Sacco is closed? I think you better address that. You are the guy in charge of that.
Which one are they? Oh, these two?
Yes, those two.
Okay, I did not get this question correctly. Can you address the potential risk
to the Sacco?
To the Sacco and the member. Maybe it requires a clarification.
Is that? Yes.
That's my question.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I'm buying a home.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I want to make sure that in case anything happens to my home, I can get it back. Because I own it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this Sacco, I own it, right?
Yeah.
I'm not getting a member, by the way.
Yeah.
But I want to be a member. So if I own the Sacco,
Yeah.
I want to make sure that it doesn't go away just like that. I need to make sure that it is protected. Also, what I'm putting in the Sacco, I want to make sure that my money is also protected.
Yeah.
So that is my question. What is the protection for the business itself and what is the protection to the member. Because remember, I think you said that there are still members who are waiting to see. Where are people waiting to see? Okay.
Okay, I get your question now. And actually that's one of the main challenges that we are having, the wait and see attitude, people sitting on the fence. And that's good, because the only thing that you have to regret is that when the other people will be moving there at 500,000, you are still at zero. That's the only apology you'll have. Now, what I want to tell you, a Sacco is a perpetual entity. Once this Sacco was created, it will never close doors. If you ask me, this Sacco will not close doors. I don't see it. It will outlive most of us. It will actually, everybody will leave this Sacco existing. This Sacco has been there for the last 3 years, and we have delivered services. I know why this member is asking that. Most of you people, I know you have been disappointed by so many fake organizations. But I can tell you, this Sacco has been there for the last 3 years. We have delivered titles. We have delivered genuine investment. For all those members who have withdrawn, ask all of them, they have gotten their saving 100%. But I'm telling members, that's not the direction we want to go. What we want to go is to grow with us. Be our agent, be our marketer. This Sacco is not growing, and so long as you will pay your loan, and you are religiously contributing to the Sacco, this Sacco will generate income. When it generates that income, it creates a buffer, because we are able to put some of the money in reserves. That reserves ensures there is no way you will ever lose your savings.
Let me clarify that to you. I think I know where you're coming from. You are about your savings. Hang on 1 second. I think I got your question. And GM, allow me to do this. Now, I know you're asking about when you put the money in, how are you protected? Now, we have insurance. That's the first thing that I think you needed to know. We have insurance, what we call the Depositors Protection Insurance, which we put wherever the money is, whether it's in KCB, Cooperative Bank, wherever we have put it all in the money market, we are under Deposit Protection Insurance. So your money is protected. Number two, if you're buying property, you must have insurance for your property. If it burns down, the insurance will come and pay you, but you are the one to pay for your insurance, not the Sacco. It is your property, isn't it? So those are the areas where when you're asking about how you get protected, yes, those resources are protected. We have the insurance to make sure that your money is intact, wherever it is. Okay? Does that answer you a little bit on the question that you requested?
On top of that, please. When we talk about protection, there was a murmur from somewhere about how much. Now, we have several layers of protection that are mandated, that are regulatory, and that's why sometimes you hear us talking about the commission and all that. There are certain things that have got to be done. There is the auditing also of the funds that are coming in here through the audit firms that are contracted to us, by us, for those finances to, for the business flow and the finances of the society to be seen working well. I think at some point earlier this year, about a year or two, when we were having all these deals going on, sorry, the word deal might not sound very right, but when we were having the senior bypass, and even prior to that, we had a bond that was agreed between us and our lawyers up to a certain amount, which was of so much high value to protect all the member assets. So what I know is any money that you have put in the Sacco, any asset that has been used by you as a collateral, we have made sure that all that is protected within us. So we can guarantee you that any money that you have within us, you'll be paid back. And like Bwananjoke said, any person who has asked for their money back has been paid back their money. We have never cut off anything from anybody else. So
thank you, Penetration. And today we have our lawyers representatives here in the House. They will be clarifying all those questions that you want to know because they were appointed by the members. You will be able to clarify the legal, the legal protection that you as a member you have. for being a Sacco member and for your investment purpose. I'm being told that our time is up, but I will give the GM 1 more minute. But there are a number of questions here, Angela, which you allow me to address that we are going to flow over. Okay.
Actually, mine is not even 5 minutes, less than 1 minute. There's something I forgot to clarify. For the loans, we also have a loan insurance. In case of a misfortunate and for some reason you pass away, the Sacco does not claim that money from you. The insurance will take up the responsibility to pay the remaining balance. And we want to move it a notch higher. We want to have another deposit insurance where if you pass away, if you had 500,000, your next of kin will get a check of 1 million. We refund you the money held by the Sacco and an additional equivalent to what you had saved. Yeah, and we shall be calling members because this will be a bit costly for the Sacco. Maybe we shall be calling the members to approve that you may be making a retro contribution to enable us to take this additional deposit insurance.
Thank you. Thank you, Bonajoki. So now I think all those questions have been addressed. You are satisfied now?
Yeah, actually, by the way, I drove 3 hours from Pennsylvania to come and listen. I think you guys are doing
Thank you, we appreciate, because there are real things happening in this Sacco. And remember, like you're saying, it is your Sacco. It is you member Sacco. It is not the board member Sacco. And again, we don't, like the chair said, we do not prescribe to know everything. You members have a lot of knowledge. Some of you have even served in the Sacco movement. There are some things in your profession that you do on a daily basis that you can contribute to make us, make this Sacco serve you better. Now, a number of questions that are still pending, and I think I'm being told that it is time for lunch. Maybe we can attempt to answer them real quick and make sure that at least some of them have not been answered through our discussion. This one was, when you talk about deficit, does this mean that the Sacco has no money to loan, or have the funds allocated to a particular department that runs out? What effect has the deficit have on the loan facility and service? Let me answer that. Okay, Bonajim, you can answer that. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you. I think this appears to be my day. Yeah, now, there is difference between deficit or liquidity and cash flow. This is now finance. For those who understand finance, there's a difference between cash flow and profitability. What Sacco is not making right now is profit. But in terms of cash flow, we have more than enough cash. As the chairman put it, we have almost 45 million lying in alternative investment because members are not borrowing. But this alternative investment, we are getting a small interest of around 7%. If we read it to member, we shall get 12%. That way we are not making money for the Sacco, but the money is there to borrow. Once you borrow this money, the Sacco now generates its own income. That's the difference between profitability. You can make a loss, but that does not mean that you don't have cash. If you started a business and you have all the facilities, but there are no members coming to patronize that facility, you'll make a loss, but does that mean that your business is not equipped? That's the difference.
So the member who asked that question, no, you have enough cash in reserve for your, not in reserve, actually in the other alternative investments that you can be able to take as loans. What we are not making is the profits. We don't have the profits, and that's why we are saying we have a deficit, because of what we are calling the recurrent expenditures that we have to undertake every month. Okay, the other question that was on is Mavuno account. When will we be able to view the account online? It's been over 3 months since I was assured we would be able to view online. Okay. Now, there is a system upgrade, and I think the IT team and Rose, you're going to address that. It's cost money also to do the upgrades, members. And again, we cannot every minute, whenever there's a new product, we attempt to upgrade because we are consuming money. We would want to do a full integrated upgrade when we are sure we have enough products that we need to bring to the platform. Yeah, so the budget for the IT is going to be coming in order for us to be able to address those things. But again, the IT team is going to address that as we move forward. So that one is taken care of. Now, the other one is, can you have delegates in various states to help further the marketing? That one we addressed. We already saying that we are opening up for the agents as we move forward today, and we're going to be requesting you to approve that for it to be a process going forward. Now, the other one is for the 1% monthly interest rate, say 12% per year. Are there any other hidden fees, taxes, insurance, etc.? GM, that is for you.
This is the beauty about the Sacco. We don't have hidden charges. I told you one of our members here qualified for a loan in one of the banks we partnered with. The fees to acquire that facility was so material that it was 5% of what he was acquiring. The beauty about SACCOs, we don't have those hidden charges. And when we talk of 1% per month, it's 1% or 12%, nothing else. And this is why you have a duty to ensure this SACCO succeeds, because you shall have a mechanism of getting affordable and flexible loan. I think that one is answered.
Yes, we are not a bank. We don't have those we call the fine prints. That's what we call them. Yeah, we don't have that. What we tell you is what it is, and it's actually as a member, this being your Sacco, and I don't know how much we can emphasize this. As a member, and this being your Sacco, you own it. You can scrutinize any document. You can request to scrutinize any document whenever you feel there is need for you to look through that. We still have a lot of questions here still.
What about the withholding tax?
Don't have that? We don't have that. When we are giving you the loan, we are giving you the loan as it is. Remember why the GM was talking about the benefits. We are not a bank. We are not for profit. So we don't have those VATs and withholding tax that you are supposed to be imposed on you as a borrower, like in other institutions that are for profit. Okay? That's the difference between a Sacco and the other institutions.
I asked that question. Can you clarify? If I borrow, let's say, like 3 million, and the interest is 12%, and let's say the monthly payments are 300 out of that, is that all what the member will pay?
There's an administration cost, I guess you will.
Yes. If you borrow a loan of 3 million, the monthly repayment will be around 36,000 or thereabout. That is exactly what you shall be paying. The only additional fee, and this is for postage and sending the document to Nairobi, is $100. Application fee. And this will you pay one-off to facilitate the sending of the document to Nairobi. That's all. And for you, you all know that sending document to Nairobi, hard copies, is very expensive through FedEx. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think, John, are you okay with that? Okay, very good. Now, then, I think with that, what time are we, Madam Secretary? Now? Okay. Now, there is one big checklist here of what the previous questions, the two that have just come through from Eric. I think we'll pack that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now,
So that we stay on time.
we stay on time. Now, I think this older one, I think it's important we address it if you give us like 3 minutes. Let me walk them through. With the financial institutions in Kenya going under admin in questionable status, which means being taken to ensure that the self-keeping of our funds. That one I think we have addressed. We have addressed that one. Now, the second one was, how is the Sacco registered in US and how is our financial reported? Our Sacco is not a US registered entity. That is very clear. We are Kenyan registered Sacco. In the US, if we want to register, we can only register a credit union or any other entity that you members will request the board to do. But at this particular moment, you have to tell us what kind of an institution you'd love registered here in the US if there is need for that. And we must be able to demonstrate the need.
Can I add to that real quick, because that's one of the things. Just to add to that, because that's one of the areas I've been asked to research as part of the. Oh,
Don't go too much.
too close to the mark. I'm taking it out.
Leave it. Don't
Okay.
hold it.
So really the question was, can we technically you should be registered as a financial institution in the United States to operate here in the United States because you are citizens of this country and the requirements to do so. But the Sacco is registered in Kenya. Now, so we were researching how do we actually go about setting up as an organization, whether we set up a credit union or do we register as a financial investment institution. One of the things you need to understand is that when you do register in any of those categories, there's an overhead associated with it because of all the restrictions associated with setting up financial institutions in the United States, because of the regulations that came up, because of all the issues of terrorism. And so they do add a significant piece to it. When I talked to the federal group about setting up a credit union, I said we had 1,000 members, about 1,000 members. They said that number is too small. We need to look for another credit union that we actually partner with. That raises different issues because now you're taking your money to another issue and you have to form a relationship with that. The other is that we actually increase the membership number and make it really high so that we can become, because if you, like in California, we have the Ukrainian credit union, we have the Pakistani credit union, so we can do something similar. But anyway, goes back to the basis of we need to grow ourselves so that we have a large number of people to cover the basis for covering those basic administrative costs. Later on, I think there'll be discussion of how we can actually leverage ourselves by being a credit union here and also being registered in Kenya, because a lot of things we can do. We've actually been approached by people here who have money, who want to bring money to us, Americans, but we can't take their money. I've had people who say to me, I'll give you money because we want access to Kenya, because this Sacco provides that as a basis. Now, understand, if they come to us and use us as a vehicle, it's your money that you're going to build them, because you're going to charge them a fee to do that. You're not going to do it for free. So you think of yourself on top of a mountain, and they're actually behind you. That's what we want to do. But we need the membership. They want access to your nation, your country, and the resources. So hop on that boat and don't sit on the fence like the GM is saying. There's much to be lost by just sitting on the fence.
Thank you. Thank you, Devin. Thank you. That's quite clear. So we'll be looking at the modalities and the regulations and the requirements to be able to set such institutions. And then again, it's also to a benefit. If then it is possible and the members numbers increase, and then our cash value reserve increases, then we are at a better position to be able to set those institutions. But remember, members, if you say we do it with the membership that you have, the money is going to come from you, nobody else. There is no any other money anywhere else. Please understand that is the situation, and we need to be aware of that. Now, the other question that we had is confirm the fund deposit in Kenya. Confirmation of funds deposited into Kenya take too long. Is that true? Members, when you put your money in Kenya, does it take so long? I don't know. Whose question was that?
That's my question.
Okay.
I had changed depositing here to Kenya, but when I deposited in Kenya, it took almost over a month to confirm that I had a deposit there.
Now,
which is a little bit too long.
Let me share for you. Did you send the text or the information of your deposit slip to for the treasurer? I think that's something you need to follow up. Why that member's activity took so long? Yeah.
Here again, I had asked a question, but I understand that improved now. We can actually use send, wave, and all that stuff. That was not before.
Yeah.
So I was being forced either to go to a bank or send a check, and I thought that check is the old way of doing things, and so I was not
We have a lot of systems already now. We have a lot of ways of sending money back at home now for the members, and those actually the moment you send, that information comes to you instantly. The moment in your instant messages, if you do wave or you do those other instruments that we have. So, and that will be covered in the treasurer's discussion reports as we move forward on those areas of funds. There is the last one.
Since we're still on that, let me the answers to the previous question, actually, they were very good answers. I really liked the answers. One of the reasons I was asking that is because of taxation. Although I know recently there was an argument between Kenya and the US that they don't have to put up with taxation.
Yeah.
But the reason I was asking that question is because of that. I don't think it's a law yet, but it's a discussion that they have. I mean, I understand, sorry, I understand I'm investing in Kenya, but is that money reported here as a, deposit here, or is it not reported at all?
Now, we do not, when you you send your money to the Sacco account in Kenya, now that's the Kenya affair. At that particular moment, it has nothing to do with the US. So when you deposit, if you deposit here, then you are subject to the US laws. Okay? And that is why now, if you look currently, we are discouraging members from depositing the monies in the accounts here. Actually, as per this AGM, we want to request that we scrap that issue of members putting any money in the US, because then again, we are going to be subjected to double taxation. So we find means of the members being able for us to have your deposits in Kenya, because that's where we are domain, and most of you actually, that's where you are investing. So, and cutting the cost, it is too expensive. You put that money there, we are trying to collect it, we are trying to use money transfer companies in order to be able to send it out. It is a double cost for you as a member. We need to eliminate that and make sure that at least it helps you.
The hotel has employees and hot food waiting for us. We said we're going to respect your time. It's 2 minutes into 1 o'clock. Those are nice questions that we're going to talk about as we go to lunch. All those questions, we're going to continue parking them. If we find windows of opportunities to answer some of those questions, let's go ahead and do it. Thank you, members.
There are just only 2 actually that are remaining. We'll do that.
Absolutely.
Eric, we need to give directions of where we are going for lunch. Yeah, please.
All right, so I was trying to get you guys a little bit more time to stretch, but you kept the questions coming, so that is great. So lunch is going to be served at the bistro. The bistro is, once you get out of this area, you're going to turn and you can take the stairs to go down. We have a buffet style. We have some great food that is hot and available for you, but we want to continue this dialogue. So I'm going to request that you eat very fast and come back at least by 1:30. Can you guys do that? 1:30? It's okay, that's 25 minutes. Okay, can I get you back in by 1:45 and seated? Yes, and seated in the room, because we will begin promptly at 1:45. Okay, thank you. Muy bien.